I'm going to be talking about Shannon Sharpe. Seems like everybody is talking about Shannon Sharpe and his divorce with Skip Bayless. It's been so funny to watch because over the last week or so, they've had to do the show together. And it's like two people living in a house and you know the divorce papers are coming in a couple days and you're trying to make nice for the next week or whatever it is. At this point, they're getting a divorce. Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe are going their own ways. And I think that right now, Shannon Sharpe is a huge media commodity. So we're going to talk about what's happened from his own words. We're going to do some reaction to some of the things that he said and some of the things that other people have said. And then we're going to look at who his possible replacements are. So let's get to it.
Mad Dog, people look at things and like you can have like 15 great years and somebody have a bad moment and they're willing to throw all of that away. I wasn't willing to throw that the 2 months that Skip and I, we disagreed a lot. Sometimes I think things got.
No, they just didn't disagree. They would actually, I would watch some of their shows and Shannon Sharpe, who's a hothead as it is, would get actually pissed off at some of the stuff that Skip Bayless would say. Now, Skip would say some outrageous crap, but he took it personal.
Went over the line.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm learning something.
And so I didn't want that. And so
if you ever seen his show, you know that Skip Bayless indeed took things over the line quite a few times.
Appreciate everything Skip had done for me, bringing me there, giving me an opportunity to show that I was just more than a football player. I could talk about more in the sports world than just football. So I wasn't willing to throw that away. Skip and I just needed to get into a room and talk, and calmer heads prevailed.
All right, and
yeah, you know why calmer heads prevailed? Money. Once they started talking about buyout and he saw those dollars, yeah, calmer heads prevailed. Hey, Shannon, we're going to give you a big check to get rid of you. And when we get rid of you, you're going to get this check. But for the next week or two, sit down, make nice with Skip, and continue these episodes.
Is the relationship better now?
We're great. We're great. Look, Skip and I, we don't have the type of relationship that Skip and Stephen A. had, because Skip and Stephen A. came from the same world. They had been
both writers,
both journalists. They're trained. They see what they see through the journalist's eyes.
So he's talking to Mad Dog Russo. I've just got some superimposed video so I don't get the big smackdown by, I think it's, I don't know, FS1, whatever it is. But he's talking to Mad Dog, and he's basically, in his own words, telling you what happened between he and Skip. Now, on the other side of the coin is you got to read between the lines here. I look at this as there was a power struggle.
I'm an ex-athlete. I see things through an athlete's eyes. And so for me, we see things differently. That's why we work on the show.
I have so many problems with fanboys getting into so many arguments on Twitter because they look at things from the perspective of fans. They see things from the bleachers looking in. I try to talk from the field looking out, given my experience. Now, I'm not a Hall of Famer and I don't have 3 Super Bowl rings, but I've spent enough time on a field to understand that it's different. It's a different perspective than somebody sitting in the bleachers and talking on Twitter. A lot of people don't like that. A lot of people butt heads with it. They call you a casual, whatever that means. And the problem is, it is a completely different perspective, even between an athlete and a journo who's been around for 20, 25, 30 years. Stephen A., Skip Bayless, these guys have been fixtures. I mean, absolute fixtures on ESPN and now on FS1, but neither one of them have ever strapped on a chin strap. Never happened. So he does bring a different perspective. That's also why I like Emmanuel Acho as well.
He sees things one way, I see things another way. But I think the thing is that Skip and I, that I conveyed to Skip is that, look, we can disagree, but I want to color between the lines. I don't want the disagreement to go outside of the lines.
And when that color he's talking about is where it bleeds in, is because sometimes Shannon can become a firebrand for the racial stuff that's going on outside of the sports world, and he brings it onto the set, and he's talking to a white guy, and he's trying to tell this white guy how black people react, and obviously Skip's going to push back. So in my mind, there wouldn't be a lot of crossing of the lines if you just kept it to sports. just keep it to the actual games, man. There's enough news out there talking about politics. Can't we just keep it, within sports? And if you're not going to keep it within sports, that's what you've got your YouTube channel for. Shannon's got a great channel. He talks to all kinds of people. He's very opinionated. And, people can tune into that to hear your political aspirations and your political beliefs. But, talking to Skip Bayless, they just want to hear, X's and O's from a fanboy perspective.
And you thought there for a little while it did?
Yeah, I did. I think everybody thought that.
I did not realize that.
Mad Dog, come on. Everybody realized that. You knew that. You knew that the two of them butted heads on a few different, how can I say it, social issues.
And Skip has a, up and down reputation. Overall, though, he's done a great job for your career.
Yeah.
Stephen A. swears by him, too.
Yeah, man. You done a great job by my...
Stephen A. swears by him. Of course he does. The two of them used each other to make millions, absolute millions of dollars. So one of my favorite news media characters is Sir Charles Barkley, and he doesn't hold anything back. He doesn't really care. Fire me if you want. I make $20 million a year. I bring great ratings to TNT, and I'm going to tell you what I think. And so he's going to weigh in on the Shannon Sharpe matter in only the way that Sir Charles Barkley can.
I don't do social media, so I get all my information off Bleacher Report. I read an article today.
You read something?
I did.
Okay.
If you work with a damn idiot, they'll buy you out.
If you work with a damn idiot, they'll buy you out. So he's talking about Shannon Sharpe getting a big check because he's working with the guy, obviously, Barkley considers a big idiot to be Skip Bayless.
So, I'm saying, I read it. I thought. I'm just saying. I'm telling you, Shaq, it's not you. It's not you. It's not you. It's not Ernie. It's Kenny. But apparently, if you work with a damn idiot, they'll buy you out. Okay. So I just want y'all to know, I'm open to the buyout.
The company can't afford the buyout.
That's probably true.
I've never had a buyout. You hear about them from time to time. I wouldn't know.
I saw it on Bleacher Report. It's got to be true.
Got to be true.
That's probably true. They can't afford to buy out Sir Charles Barkley. So in this clip, we have ESPN's newest edition, a guy who's going the other way, going from a YouTube podcast to a broadcast show, which a lot of people are having a problem with. But hey, hats off, man. If it works for you, it works for you. This is Pat McAfee and his crew talking about the whole Shannon Sharpe thing.
Is potentially on the move. Now, we will miss Shannon Sharpe with Skip Bayless. Okay? All of us will.
Sure. No. I won't miss it.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I'm saying I won't miss it.
How come?
What are you talking about? What is it even? You
Great
won't?
TV.
Skip and Shannon, they go so well together.
Skip is an asshole.
Bing.
If you didn't hear him, he said Skip's an asshole.
No, which is why.
What about Shannon?
Bingo.
Another asshole.
Oh, God, he didn't pull any punches. He said they're both assholes.
Shannon, no, I'm joking.
No,
Shannon is my dude, but like I won't miss Skip, bro. Like I talk to Shannon, but like ain't gonna miss Skip.
Yeah,
Skip gonna miss Shannon.
There's been a lot of people that have kind of come to that same conclusion where they're like, hey, Skip has had a really long run. I don't know if anybody said this, an incredible run.
Great run.
Changed sports media forever, Skip did, actually. And I think he probably understands that and knows that. But a lot of people think at this stage of the game, with how great Shannon was on that particular program, which is why I will miss it, because watching Skip get a chance with Shannon, like that's good. Shannon's great. So it's like a good adversary partner work, which we didn't know what it was. A lot of people are saying that Skip might, this might be the
fade off.
Yeah. I would never say that.
No, too much money on the table. Skip's gonna find a new host, a new partner, and he'll start up all over again. This kind of news can continue on and on and on. Hot takes are here to stay.
would never say that about Skip Bayless.
People are saying that.
People
on the
are
internet.
saying that, though, and I don't think they understand the power of Skip Bayless.
Yes.
I don't think they understand. Skip Bayless will find a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Skip Bayless will.
He'll find his cheese.
Well, he will continue to do his thing. But Shannon being available is that's a narrative shifter for a place. That's a potential massive asset to a platform that maybe wants to launch, which as experiencing the space a little bit from a business standpoint.
Twitter.
Going a few months back, there's a lot of places that are trying to get into the sports media world. There's
Twitter.
a lot of places that are trying to launch their thing who have rights to stuff either in the future or planning on getting rights, but a lot of money behind them. A lot.
So can you imagine, of course, you've heard the stories about Tucker Carlson and him going, on Twitter and doing some sort of show. I could see Shannon Sharpe partnering up with Elon Musk. Forget the networks. Forget that shit. And doing a live show for a couple hours a day directly on Twitter. Home run, huge money, probably would break the bank.
A lot of money behind them.
So
it's like Shannon is going to be in a really good spot here, I think.
Yeah.
And I hope to hell he comes to ESPN. And when I say come to ESPN, we're not even at ESPN.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to go to ESPN. If I'm Shannon Sharpe, I'm like, nope, I am not going back to you guys. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take the big bucks of Twitter and Elon Musk. I'm going to create something of my own. I'm going to dwarf you guys in terms of the money I can bring in.
Oh,
But we're going to be there. And if Shannon Sharpe is to be there, and you start talking about like what a day could look like, that's fucking awesome.
Sure.
AJ.
Yeah.
And I am very excited about it,
I would imagine Shannon already has some things in the works because he sounds like he stepped away on his own. He reached an agreement, right? Like a mutual agreement to part ways.
buyout.
So, buyout. Man. So I want to see these episodes now, though. How many episodes do they have together knowing that he's
They
going?
were on today. Yeah, it seems like they might have worked themselves into a shoot, brother.
Yeah.
Through the finals, so probably like 2 or 3 weeks. It really just depends on how the series goes.
What was the
Yeah, buyout. Buyout equals big money. And then once you're free of that with that buyout, you can go negotiate with anybody. So Amazon already has things in the works with the NFL. There aren't many suitors who've got that kind of money. Elon Musk got bank.
a tipping point? At what stage did it become no, we're not going to be able to do it anymore?
There was a few.
And this is a lot of, obviously, drama talk, but it could directly affect our lives, which I hope happens. Shannon's a weapon.
Yes.
A real talent, and we're happy for him. Good luck out there.
Go get him, Shannon.
Good luck out there.
One of the guys that people are mentioning that could be Shannon Sharpe's replacement, who's been doing a little bit of media stuff on his own channel, is Marcellus Wiley. Marcellus Wiley is affable. He can deliver lines. And I'm going to show you a video he posted. He's got sunglasses on because he had pink eye. But he's got some really good, I don't know, introspective viewpoints on what happened between Shannon and Skip Bayless. Take a listen.
Here's the real of what's going on over there and why we even got here. Skip Bayless runs that show, and he's always run that show. And by the stripes on his sleeve, he should run that show. Skip Bayless was the first one in that door. Him and Colin Cowherd, both leaving ESPN to come start FS1, right? So you got to give him respect for that in terms of the daily shows. With that risk comes a great reward, including the power that Skip Bayless has. Not only does Skip Bayless make the most money over there, but he has the most power in terms of how he runs his show. Colin runs his show, but also Colin will be a little more open-minded into the terms of his show. A little more, but not.
Now, he's speaking from firsthand experience. So what he's giving you there is some inside baseball on these huge shows.
Skip, oh, no. So here's the problem. That's not the problem. Skip is here. Shannon started here, used the relationship with Skip Bayless to get there, right? And then Shannon started to get way more popular. How about this? More popular than Skip Bayless, some would say. Based on
I would say that. I for sure would say that Shannon Sharpe at this point, his Q score is a lot higher than Skip Bayless.
On the podcast numbers, the new generation numbers, social media numbers, like Shannon is popping. even more than you, Skip. So when you're doing this in your real world, in your outer show world, but inside the borders and structure of the show you're on that's giving you all this jet fuel, nothing's changing. Even when you surpass Skip Bayless, you still have to be under him in terms of the show.
He no longer wants to be the opening act. Shannon Sharpe no longer wants to open for Guns N' Roses. He doesn't want to go on a stadium tour and be the opening act while people are still getting their beers for Metallica. No. I'm the headliner now. I want headliner money, and more important, I want headliner status, and I want to be seen as the headliner.
Other than the disrespect, and I shouldn't even say other than, in addition to the disrespect that we've seen multiple times from Skip Bayless, told the dude to put his damn glasses on, and he put them on.
He actually did that.
Shannon had multiple times had to ask Skip, can he talk? Like, they're not talking like friends. They're not even talking like friends that are beefing. They're talking like strangers, like in a way. And Skip knew he can always talk to Shannon, the Hall of Famer, the 3-time Super Bowl champion, because he knew he controlled the show.
If you control the show, you control the access, you control the time, you control the content, everything. And because it was essentially Skip Bayless's show, that made Shannon a second fiddle. He's absolutely right.
But more than that, Skip also felt that he could control the show and control Shannon's job security.
Now, that's a big one. You know, there were probably some off-camera conversations where Skip may have said at one point or another, I can replace you. I mean, we've heard Stephen A. say it to Max Kellerman and some other people, or rumored to have heard that. But there's no doubt Skip Bayless, with the type of personality he has, may have, if he didn't say it, he definitely inferred it.
That's why this has now come to a head, because Shannon finally just smelled the roses, finally just took a big inhale and was like, dog, why do I have to deal with all of this? We have the incidents, obviously. We know when we went back to the Hamlin tweets. We know we got the incidents with...
Now, he's talking about with DeMar Hamlin when he got hurt and almost died on the field. And Skip made a very insensitive tweet that Shannon Sharpe took personally, and then they beefed about it. It didn't need to go there. At one point, I thought it was choreographed, that the whole thing was AstroTurf. But Shannon was really pissed.
Tom Brady. We can go through that, but watch my old video 4 months ago if you want to know about all that. What I'm telling you right now, and I am not a prognosticator like an expert. I can't just predict this stuff. But I can look at simple, tried truths. I can look at human emotions and relationships and simply just come to a summation. This wasn't hard to figure out if you had the proper information.
And I'm sure that Marcellus Wiley, with what he's gone through with these broadcast networks, absolutely had that knowledge.
I used to work there. I was privy to that information that most of you guys weren't. So putting this all together,
And notice what he just said. That's a very important thing. I think a lot of people miss that. When I used to work there, when you're an employee, you have to, toe the line. You have to be that guy, the way they want you to be. So right now, Marcellus Wiley, like myself, we don't have to answer to anybody. It's a very comforting fact to know that, hey, listen, if you want to drink something during the show and just have a drink, if you want to put stuff like your former jerseys and Compton to Columbia in the background, if I want to, show my background and show that, hey, listen, this is, my home studio, and I don't want it decorated like a fanboy type place. It's not a man cave. It's where I come in here to do work. It's where I come in here to buy real estate. It's where I come in here to, just get away. It's where my wife, her desk is over here so she can do her contracts. I don't work for anybody, so I don't have to worry about what it looks like and who cares about the background and whether or not I've got her picture, and it doesn't matter. You're not going to have that freedom when you're on a set of a show that you work at.
There was a power struggle. There was a power dynamic that shifted right before their very eyes, and they didn't want to adjust to. And I say they because I'm sure that Shannon wanted to adjust it. It's just Skip was stuck in his ways. So now Skip is going to be stuck without the uber popular co-host named Shannon Sharpe.
And that's absolutely true. He's not going to have Shannon Sharpe there much longer. But that doesn't stop other people from looking at this as a huge opportunity. And probably the biggest opportunist in the hot take market is Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith sees an opportunity and he's going to go for it. So he's going to film a video directly recruiting Shannon Sharpe. Take a listen.
And that I don't know what his plans are. I don't know what he's trying to pursue. I don't know what he's after. But if Shannon Sharpe needs me,
he doesn't. That's just it. He just walked away from Skip Bayless. Why would he go back into the frying pan and be a second fiddle, a minstrel for Stephen A. Smith, who churns out hosts left and right and spits them out? Why would he want to come on Stephen A. Smith's show and help elevate Stephen A. Smith? I think that would be a huge mistake. He wants to be the star. He doesn't want to be the sidekick right now. And Stephen A. knows the threat that Shannon Sharpe is bringing to the table at this point. He just saw that Pat McAfee made a crap load of money coming from YouTube to ESPN. He knows that because Stephen A.'s podcast is just starting. He's getting great numbers, but he's way behind Shannon Sharpe in terms of his podcast. So this is a point in media where some of the established guys are looking around and going, hey man, I need to align myself with some of these new media type guys. These new media type guys are really making stuff happen. And so Stephen A. is going to throw his hat in the ring and say, come on over here.
I'm happy to be here for him. And if that included him wanting to come on First Take, the bosses at ESPN know that is something I would support.
So he's already talked to Jimmy Pitero and some of the guys at ESPN said, hey man, if you can get Shannon Sharpe to come on my show, M-Y, my show, not Shannon Sharpe show, but if you can get him to come on my show, I would support it. Of course you would. The ratings would be through the roof. But Shannon ain't going there, man. Shannon ain't going to go and be second fiddle to another person. Not with his star on the rise. I just don't see it. I just don't think it's in the cards for Shannon Sharpe to go and play second fiddle to Stephen A. Smith. I think he's going to get an offer. I really think, I hope that he sees an offer from Elon Musk and they take on these networks and he does a Twitter live show. So now on Twitter, people have been talking about who could be Shannon Sharpe's replacement. There's a whole bunch of people that are probably in the running for it. Let's take a look at a video that talks about some of these potential suitors for Skip Bayless. So number one, you're talking about Mad Dog Russo, who's on First Take with Stephen A. quite a bit, also has his own serious show. I don't see this happening. Only because of the optics. I'm pretty sure they don't want to put one white guy, Skip Bayless, opposite another white guy, Mad Dog Russo. It just doesn't work out. Number two, forget Nick Wright. I don't even know why people talked about it. I don't see that, basically for the same aforementioned reasons. Number three, Kendrick Perkins could indeed be a host with Skip Bayless. He's a flamethrower. You know about the fight or rift that he and JJ Redick got into on First Take. He fits the bill of the angry black guy that could come in and joust with Skip Bayless, whether it's fake or not. But I could see that happening. Chad Ochocinco Johnson. He's been on I Am Athlete a few times, but I don't think he has the chops. I think he's going to have to get his own podcast or something and show that he can carry an audience and actually have a conversation that people would want to hear. Now, there's a guy. There's a firebrand. There's a firebrand who's got the chops. He knows how to talk definitely knows the game, another Hall of Famer. I would definitely look at Ray Lewis, and he's not on this list because he's been basically put in absentia, but another one could be Michael Irvin. If NFL Network and ESPN don't want him, FS1 could pair him up with Skip Bayless, and he'd be awesome. So Ray Lewis or Michael Irvin, I think, would be the top choices to step in the absence of Shannon Sharpe. God, no. I think this guy's got too much of a chip on his shoulder about Michael Jordan. He obviously knows basketball, but does he know the other sports? Can he talk about baseball? Can he talk about football? I'm not sure, and I don't think he'd be a fan favorite. As we spoke, Marcellus Wiley. But I think Marcellus is really starting to come into his own on his own podcast. He's got those properties. Maybe he still needs a little bit more popularity. So he may be somebody who could then work with Skip Bayless. God knows he can talk. He's engaging. He's affable as well. I think that Marcellus Wiley would be my third choice after Ray Lewis and Michael Irvin. Number 8, not a chance. Not a chance that Tom Brady is going to sit across from Skip Bayless, especially when he's getting ready to go into ownership with the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't even know how if he can be an owner with the Raiders and be in a broadcast booth at the same time. Whether or not he can be objective, people will always think that he can't. So Tom Brady, I don't even know why Twitter was talking about that. Let's just go ahead and take him off the list. So let me know what you think about Shannon Sharpe splitting with Skip Bayless, and where do you think he's headed, and who would make a good replacement for Shannon Sharpe on Undisputed? Or do you even care? Many of you may not even care. Many of you may not even watch the show. Let me know in a comment.